Alright, so this was definitely more of a dialogue-fueled episode as opposed to an action-based episode. There wasn't really a lot of action like last week until almost the end, but that's okay. And I am enjoying that this show doesn't really have a lot of humor compared to the rest of the MCU. In fact, I don't think there was a single joke this entire episode. And it is definitely a lot grittier than the typical MCU fare, more along the lines of, say, Moon Knight. And I'm really enjoying the conspiracy and the intrigue of this, and the secret organizations that are trying to run the world, very similar to Hydra. I'm loving that. I'm loving this. And I love seeing Nick Fury and Rhodey interact. Their scenes together were really good. I never thought we'd get to see Nick Fury and Rhodey have like kind of a one-on-one scene. That was kind of unexpected. I really liked how they wrote that. I really liked how it was performed. But the performance that steals the show this episode is by far Olivia Colman. She plays such a great villain. She's threatening. She really enjoys doing horrible things. She reminds me a lot of Umbridge from Harry Potter. In fact, I know this is controversial. I know it's very controversial that they're remaking Harry Potter as a TV series on Max. And, the whole movie series of Harry Potter was perfectly cast. I wouldn't replace any actors and actresses in that entire movie series. But since they're rebooting it anyway, if she's available when they get around to doing Order of the Phoenix in that series, she would make a great Umbridge. So let me know what you guys think of that. Do you think Olivia Colman would be a great Professor Umbridge if they get around to doing that in the show? Now, frankly, though, I was a bit shocked by how graphic the violence in the show can get, yet still be rated TV-14. Because violence-wise, I think they're really pushing it. Now, it's not as graphic as Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, but it is still a lot more graphic than the typical MCU fare. Now, to some degree, I get why they're doing that, so that when we get to movies like Deadpool and Blade, which will most likely be rated R, the violence level of those won't seem super out of place for the MCU. They're sort of preparing us for that. But I'm still surprised, and I don't know, I just wish the violence in this episode had been done a bit more tastefully, I guess. Maybe you have some more, implied violence. You don't need to see everything going on. Maybe you just kind of do some off-screen implications. I think that would be a lot more effective. It seems like they're kind of pushing the violence a little bit for maybe some of the shock value. Okay. But I do like how this episode had some fun Easter eggs. The scene where Emilia Clarke's character is investigating, and you see that they have different aliens registered, one of which is Groot. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but when it says Groot, is it the Groot that we know from the Guardians of the Galaxy? Or are there other Groots? Are there other members of his species on Earth hiding out somewhere? Because they're trees, they can blend in, so fun to think about. Maybe it means nothing, maybe that was just a funny Easter egg, but who knows? This episode, not as good as the first week's episode, but I still really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode, and I'll see you next time.